This is Laura White conducting a multicultural interview on Sunday, October 7th. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Juliet Gill.
And how old are you, Juliet?
I am 14 years old.
Juliet has been selected for my multicultural interview for her age. Juliet, I'm going to ask you a few questions that are associated with your age and your age group.
Okay.
Try to answer the questions as clearly and to the best of your knowledge, okay?
All right.
The first question is, what benefits have you experienced due to being in this particular group, which I have identified as adolescents?
Being an adolescent. Well, um, being young, I mean, you're still learning a lot. So, like, going through your learning course, I think that's pretty cool because you get to learn things you don't know. And then not having so many responsibilities yet. I mean, going through your learning course, you're getting more stuff put onto you. And I think if you got all that stuff put onto you at once as an adult, I think you'd like explode.
Okay. Are there any other particular benefits that you have experienced being an adolescent?
Let me think about that one.
Okay. If we need to, we can come back to that question. The next question says, what challenges or drawbacks do you attribute to being a member of this group? In other words, what challenges or drawbacks do you feel you've had to experience being an adolescent?
Being a child, period. Like, there's certain things you want to do, like, oh, I want to go drive a car, mom. Oh, you're only certain age. You can't really do that. There's always going to be your certain age restriction because you're so young. Like, you can't do certain things. And always being put down because you're a child. And you want to, like, show that you're a certain age and you've matured this much from being 8 or 9. And certain people don't see that in you. They always think, oh, because you're a child, I'm going to group you with other kids that might be not as mature or as mature as you are.
Okay. Which kind of leads as a segue into my next question. So it's safe to say that you do feel that there are some stereotypes of adolescence?
Many, yeah.
Okay. What are your feelings concerning stereotypes of your group?
I think the whole maturity, immaturity thing is one of my biggest pet peeves about being labeled. So if you like to goof around a lot, you don't do schoolwork well, you lumped into this category of people that don't care, kids that don't care. Or if you're smart, you do all your schoolwork, turn it in on time, you're grouped as one of the nerds. That's what they call us in school. Like, I don't like the groups and how they're formed. Like, if you're this, you're in this group. If you're this, you're in that group. I think we're just all one big group, no matter how we're grouped or based.
Okay. Do you have any other feelings regarding stereotypes?
I think there's a lot of clothing stereotypes, and I think that's kind of immature. Like, for example, a Caucasian girl, she wears Aeropostale, and then an African American girl, she doesn't wear anything named brand. These two will get into a dispute because she wears Aeropostale and the other girl doesn't. And so you're labeled as a prep if you wear Aeropostale, and I think that's kind of rude to them. Or you're labeled as ghetto or broke if you don't, and it's kind of stupid.
Okay. Now the next question is going to ask for examples, and it's regarding specific experiences that you have had because of your membership in the group of adolescents. And we can revisit the question again if it's too many different ways up front, but it asks, are there examples of specific experiences you have had because of your membership in this group? And those experiences can be negative, they can be positive, they can be prejudice, or they can be privilege. So we can take them in order or however they come to you. Any specific experiences?
Being like the middle sibling, I'll start like in a family type circle. Being the middle sibling, always having an older sister to look up to, I've always wanted stuff she had. So like when she first got her very first phone, I'd be like, "Oh, that's so can I play on it?" Or I'd be like, "Mom, can I have a phone?" And then there would be times when mom was like, "No, you're too young." And you're not responsible enough. You don't have the responsibility or the maturity to handle a phone. And my sister would say the same thing. And as for like school, like there's a lot of people I know, like, because I'm African American or because I'm fat, I can't do certain things like going up the stairs. It was that one time, like, you go up the stairs too slow. And, like, I don't really see how that would really matter.
So you would consider those like prejudice and negative?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any instances, any specific experiences that are positive or regarding privilege because you're an adolescent?
Um, Last year in school in New Tech, we had this little assembly thing. It wasn't. It was just the whole New Tech. It wasn't many of us last year, and um, your peers and your students would observe you. And I got a medal for being um collaborative. I think that was the one. I thought that was really cool because not everyone got one, and you had to be like really showing your stuff. But then it was really nice.
Okay. Any other specific experiences that you'd like to reference as far as being a member of the group of adolescents?
Not that I can think of now.
Okay. Next question says, if you could change society's view of this group in any way, and when they say society, they're referring to, the your United States society, not the world, but our society. How would you wish to change that view?
I would want America as a whole to like actually give some of us a chance. I understand that there are certain people that do bad things and that's granted, but like certain kids, like kids under the age of 16, like we don't really go out, we don't smoke, we don't do drugs, we don't drink. I mean, some of us do, but not all of us. But then because so many people have been exposed to just that group, they think, "Oh, you're 14, you're 15, you're out having sex, you're going to parties every weekend, you're drinking, you're smoking weed." And not all of us do. I for one have never and will not. I mean, if they could take a chance to sit down with the people that don't and like have this chance and see how we felt, they would understand more, I think.
So, if I'm hearing you correctly, you feel like society has a misconception of adolescence as a whole?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you could change that view, you would like to see society be more accepting of your age group, um, as kids who don't get in trouble?
Not exactly kids that don't get in trouble, but kids that try to do the right thing,
Okay.
but do get into trouble sometimes. I mean, we're not perfect.
Okay. Okay. Next question says, how would you feel about seeing a counselor who was different from you, either ethnically, culturally, or religiously? And if you can, address each one of those separately. So if you had to go and see a counselor about your problems, and it was someone who was from a different ethnic background, how would you feel about that?
I've actually dealt with that case. My counselor is Caucasian. There's the ethnic thing, and I really don't have a problem talking to her because she relates to me. She understands what kids are going through my age because she was in that position. I mean, she wasn't like me, but she had her problems as a high schooler, and I can really relate to that, although she's not from the same race as I.
Okay.
As for religion standpoints, I mean, we've never really gotten into that because I feel uncomfortable talking with certain people about my religion because I don't want them to feel like I'm shoving my beliefs down their throats.
What about if they wanted you to adopt their religious beliefs? A counselor, how would you handle that?
I would express to them that I already have some that's been established in my family. I would tell them that I understand that, but I choose not to accept it. But I would try to say that as polite as possible.
What if the counselor was from the same background?
I think that I think we connect even more. Like if she was from what I've been through and like she was the same race as I think we connect even more because she would know like better than she already does.
Okay. Any other opinions of having a counselor who is of the same background? whether male or female?
I think if it was a male, I don't think I would be as close because my counselor's a female, and females like get each other. But if it was a male, I don't think I would be as close to him, whether he be African American or Caucasian. I just don't see that connection to a male.
Okay. This interview was conducted with you um, as a part of a multicultural interview for you regarding your age, which is in the adolescence group. Clearly, you'll only be an adolescent for a certain amount of time. How do you feel about the next group that you're approaching, which will be adulthood?
I'm kind of nervous. Like, as a kid, I was remember saying, "Oh man, I want to grow up. I can't wait to move out and have my own apartment and drive my own car and blah 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 blah." And I remember getting in fights with my mom and be like, "Man, okay, I'll be ready to move out in blah 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 years, and I'll have all my stuff packed. And on the first day of my birthday, I'll be gone." But now that I'm like getting close to that, I'm like, "Whoa, man, I need to rethink that. Maybe okay, maybe I'm not as eager as I was as a kid." Like sitting here thinking about it, it's like, okay, well, I'll be an adult in 3 years. Like, what am I gonna do after high school? Like, what college am I gonna go to? Where am I gonna stay? How am I gonna have a life for myself? Or if I want to start a family, how am I gonna do that? And with the economy nowadays, it's like really hard to get a job. So I sit down a lot and try to like map out what I'm gonna do with my life after high school. It's kind of scary.
Okay, well, you do have time. The one question I asked you is if you could change society's view. If there was one thing that you needed to tell people that you feel is misunderstood about adolescence, what would that one most important thing be?
I think it'd be that we understand. Like, I've heard a lot of adults say that, oh, you're a child, you wouldn't understand. I hear that phrase a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'll want to go, we do understand, we do care, just because we seem naive. And we are naive, some of us are. But some of us do care, we do understand, we're not just stupid.
Now, you mentioned earlier about, being a little scared to leave adolescence and go to adulthood,
Yeah.
but knowing that that's coming, what would you say is the one thing that you're looking forward to leaving behind as an adolescent?
The immaturity, I would say, that's like the biggest thing I'm ready to like just drop. Friends, like mainly people I know. I know I'm dealing with my own immaturity, but it's like people I'm around, like friends or ex-friends. I'm like ready to let all that go. I don't want to drag that into adulthood when I have priorities I need to focus on and jobs I need to work. I don't have time for that at all.
What do you think has been your biggest personal challenge being an adolescent? And by that I mean referring to since you turned, say, 13, around 13. What do you think has been your biggest challenge?
Trying to fit in school and stuff like that. It hasn't always been a problem, but like say from like 8th grade to now, that transition was really hard for me. Trying to get in a clique of friends, people I need to be around for support, dealing with teachers and bullies, and just trying to find my place in this last little section of my childhood of sorts. Just trying to get into that and get it going.
So if you had any advice for a younger adolescent who faced those same challenges, what advice would you offer?
I would tell them that if they were going through a hard time to like not get their head down. Like if you're gonna put your head down, you're not gonna get through it easy. I would say keep your head up, and if you have friends you've known for a long time, try and stick with them. They they're going through that phase too, and they can help you. I mean, I've had my bumps with my friends, but they're still there as of now. I would tell them just to like not give up because it will get easier as you keep going.
What do you think has been one of the strongest support systems for you during your adolescence?
Well, recently, well, that'd be one of them. I would say family's probably been the strongest. Coming home every day, having to deal with people I don't like, crying, upset, angry. Family's always been the strongest. There's some other things that would fall under that, but the strongest would be family.
What are some of those other things?
Well, last year, a few friends and I started a support group in New Tech. It's the school I'm in, just for girls. We because we're supposed to be strong, but then again, we're always tearing each other down. So we started this like support group for the four of us and the rest of the girls we go to school with to like meet up and like have lunch every day and just like express ourselves. So um it's a group. We don't have a really name, but we meet up every Friday during lunch and we really just talk. Like when we first did it, that first day sitting in that room, I don't think I've cried as much in front of people I don't really like until that moment. Like the girls in New Tech, girls I would consider to be fake or have been mean to me, like my entire guard or like my feelings to them like broke. I have so many different views of the girls in there now. Like I wouldn't have guessed some of the things they've gone through. Like 7 girls in that room have been raped, and I just like my heart broke. Like I need to change my views, and those girls, like all 60 of them, they're all there for me now. I all have their numbers on my phone. We don't really talk, but I know they're all there for me, and I really appreciate them for that.
So, having the support of your peers and your family and your own religious beliefs helped you to face the challenges and some of the obstacles that you have encountered in being an adolescent. Would you say there are any other areas, as for example, your social network, your social media friends? How would their role be portrayed in there?
I would think they're pretty important too. They have significance, but it's not like as big as I thought it used to be. And a lot of people say internet friends aren't real friends, but there have been times where people I haven't met before but are I've known on the internet. They've been there to like dry my tears. Like they're really supportive as well.
Very good, very good. Do you have any other opinions you would like to express that you would like, say, if there were a 13-year-old viewing this interview, what would you like to say to them about their new start into adolescence?
For a young girl, a 13-year-old girl getting ready to enter high school, I would tell her to not be afraid because hitting that stage, I was very afraid. And like the first couple months, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do any of this anymore. But then now, I would say I'm fine with it. I would tell a young girl to try and like maybe avoid people for a while. Not avoid people, but like if she knows she doesn't get along with certain people, like try to avoid them because if you like go up to them and like try to confront them, you're not gonna have a good time. As for a young guy getting ready to enter high school, I would say he needs to start dropping his childish ways like now because it's not gonna get easier. Like if you're childish, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble. I know a lot of childish guys, and it's not cute. It's not funny to like go around and mess with girls. That's not cute. It needs to stop. You're in high school. You need to grow up.
Any other advice from your own personal experiences that you would offer to an adolescent, really of any age, a younger one or your age, um, based on your personal experiences about coping and surviving the young teens, mid-teens?
Well, for a girl or a boy, like if you meet I would say like fake people. If they look fake, they pretty much are. It's like my biggest high school rule. Um,
What about fake people?
they're gonna like they're gonna pretend like they care about you. Like I have one that's I know a girl right now. I won't say her name, but she acts like she's there for me. She's always like, "Oh, Juliet, I love you. We're best friends. You can call her me whenever." But then the other day in the hallway, she was talking to me. Like we were like 2 feet apart, and she was talking to me to me with another girl. I haven't confronted her on it yet, but I've been thinking, wait, if we're such best friends, why are you talking about me? Like, if I don't want to like label people, but most 98% of the girls and boys that I've met that are fake tend to be pretty fake, as in not who they say or think they are.
So what are you advising?
I'm advising that they would try to avoid them. I mean, that's what I try to do. If they want to be friends with them, that's fine because that's what they want to do. I personally wouldn't do that because I'm way too sensitive and like knowing that you're in my face smiling but you're secretly stabbing me in the back. That doesn't go well with me. I don't want to deal with that.
At the beginning of our interview, we introduced you and your age that you were 14. You have a birthday coming up in a short while. You'll be turning 15.
Mhm.
How do you think adolescence will change with your age, if at all?
Oh man, I hope it changes. Like people say I'm like too mature for my age. Girls I used to go to school with, they're like, "You're too mature, Juliet. You're such a stick. You need to relax a little bit." But changing ages, I hope people see me the same, but like as we go on into the year before I turn another age, I hope they'll see my maturing and how I am getting older and I'm getting more mature and how I am changing. I'm not the little kid I used to be anymore.
So you see 15 as a new challenge or a new reward?
A little bit of both.
Okay. Want to elaborate on that a little?
I see it as a reward because it's like, yay, new age, get to try new stuff out. Yay, drivers, I'm old enough to get a permit and drive a car. But a challenge because, you're getting older. You're not getting any younger. You can't like be a baby anymore. You have responsibilities you need to take care of. Life's not gonna get easier because you're getting older. It's gonna get harder and you need to step up to the plate and like accept that.
In your group of adolescents, do you feel that you tend to choose your associates or friends based on your own age, or you're open to other members of the group without regard to their age?
I'm open to like anyone. I have friends that are seniors and they go young as like seventh grade. That's not really adolescence, but like I know 13-year-old seventh graders. I mean, it's like a broad horizon. I try not to judge people based on age. Once I get to know you and I find out you're pretty immature and you're like in my adolescence group, I'm gonna try to avoid you because I don't like being around immature people.
Okay. All right. That about covers the questions that I had for you. Were there any other comments that you wanted to add to this interview?
Um, like being a kid, this has been like a adventure for me. Like going through life recently, it's been kind of crazy. Like I really don't know how to define it. Like I've enjoyed it, but like there's been some times where I'm like, wow, am I really doing this? Like why? But I think it's like a challenge, and like I have friends that are like, you know what, I'm ready to die. I don't want to do this. I don't want to keep going. And it's like, yeah, you have rough points in your life, but you need to keep going. Like if you quit now, you've missed out on everything that's in store for you for the future. It's hard, but you gotta keep your head up. Like it's gonna get easier no matter what. You just have to be there to see it. You should be there to see it.
Okay. Any closing comments that you'd like to make before we conclude our interview?
I would say to any young kid that's gonna watch this to like keep your head up. Like I know it's discouraging transitioning from like middle school to high school or from like a different high school grade to another grade. I get that. I'm doing it as of now. It's hard, I know, like the work and the people and the school. It's hard, but like keep your head up. It's gonna get easier. It doesn't. The work will get harder, yeah, but it does get easier. It will get better.
Thank you. This has been a multicultural interview with Juliet Gill, who is 14. I am your interviewer, Laura White. This interview was conducted for CNS 603, Introduction to Counseling for Spring Arbor University. Thank you for viewing.